Hello and welcome to Homeschool Together. Thanks so much for joining us. This week we were in Russia studying the ballet, Siberia, nature, and we did a little bit of Tchaikovsky, actually a lot of Tchaikovsky. A lot of ballet, a lot of music, a lot of beautiful literature and art. It was really, really great to stay.
Yeah. We had a great time studying it, and our daughter really loves dance, so we just jumped right into ballet. And there's such a vast natural diversity in Russia between Eastern Russia and the Western, more European Russia. So we really got to look at lots of different landscapes and animals.
Life in Yakutsk.
Yes, that was so fun.
Okay,
we'll talk
a little bit about it. So let's start off, obviously, the ballet, Tchaikovsky, something that our daughter really, really enjoys. First thing we always like to bring up, we've been bringing these up for the last, a couple months now.
All the way through Europe, these great scholastic books about different composers and artists.
Writers and
really great.
Historical figures. They're really fun, really great. We really recommend these. I can't recommend these enough.
They're really good.
They're funny,
for
they're
this age
humorous,
group.
very informative. You'll absolutely learn something while reading it. I really love these. These are great.
They have these cute little cartoons in them. I'd say these are appropriate for early elementary, third grade and below, probably.
Third grade and below. And then that paired well with these books that I think we've alluded to a few times.
Yeah, these are the Story Orchestra books.
So
we've got
3 of them.
Let's see.
We have the
Sleeping
Beauty,
Swan Lake, and the Nutcracker. Now,
Nutcracker.
The reason that these books are so beautiful is because they have just gorgeous illustrations. You can see how pretty they are. But then you also have a selection from the ballet. Let's see if I can get this close enough to my mic to pick this up. But if I press this button here,
welcome to Homeschool Together. No.
So it's really fun. So you go through every page of the book, and it takes you through the entire ballet, and it plays snippets of the music. And then in the very back of these books, it gives you, this is where all of the buttons actually live, and it tells you about each selection that you're going to play.
Talks a little bit about the music and kind of what was going on. Yeah.
Our daughter absolutely loves these books. These are something to invest in. You know, we often post on our Facebook group whenever there's one of those buy 2 get 1 sales at Target or at Amazon, which they sometimes call buy 3 get 1 free. Buy three for the price of 2, which is just a confusing way to say buy 2 get 1 free.
Yes.
Anyways, we always post those on our Facebook group, and these are fantastic books to pick up for those sale times because they're a little bit more expensive. But I think of all the storybook type books we've invested in, these might be like my favorite. Our daughter comes back to them so often, we've had to change the battery.
Exactly. Well, and also they're really great holiday books as well. I mean, both with the Nutcracker.
The Nutcracker book is gorgeous. We gave this to our daughter for Christmas this last year, and it's so beautiful.
Very fun, very, very beautiful, and
gorgeous.
a lot of times the Nutcracker is being performed at the holiday times. It's a great way to pair the two as well. So again, these are our copies, so we have invested.
Yeah,
in
they've
these.
got these in Vivaldi and a couple others. There's not a lot, but we would say buy anything Story Orchestra. Yeah. It's so good.
Absolutely, very enjoyable. Next, I Dreamed I Was a Ballerina. Now, this is a selection that we chose for Russia because it focused on Degas' famous paintings of the Russian ballet. Ballerinas. This can also be used for France if you're doing a Degas study. So either way, so we chose it for Russia. I think we kind of found this book after we've already done France, so we pulled it into Russia as an excuse to do that. But it was really great because our daughter loves to dance, she loves ballet, and she loves all this. And it was also a nice springboard to watch some ballet be performed, on YouTube and whatnot. So it's a nice little kind of springboard into more learning. So we enjoyed this one a lot.
Yeah, this was really good.
The Noisy Paint Box by Kandinsky. So it's a biography about Kandinsky, famous Russian painter, a very talented painter, began to get into more of the abstract painting, kind of I think in the 50s, 60s time.
Like fathers of abstract art, maybe?
Yeah, very, very abstract. I think at the very end they show you some of his paintings. Really colorful, playful story about a young boy who's just trying to paint what he sees, and actually goes through his history. I didn't realize that he was a lawyer. Abandoned his painting, came back to it.
So he kept trying to paint like what they wanted him to paint.
Exactly.
So this was a really good story about creativity, about being yourself.
Yeah.
Had a lot of good messaging in here.
Really liked it.
And it was perfectly themed for Russia. So we really enjoyed this one. I think this might have been maybe a recommendation from Torchlight.
I think Torchlight.
But it was really great. We really loved it.
It was a great book. Yep. Next is from Patricia Polacco, I think.
We read a few books from hers. These were our favorite ones. So this one, The Keeping Quilt, This is a really great book. It's all about the history of a quilt in this Jewish family and how it goes from handed down from one parent to the next to the next. And
it's used in all different in shapes or forms.
Right. Well, it was originally a head shawl, and then it was made into a quilt. Let me see. Oh, here it is. All the women sewed together to make this into this beautiful quilt, and then it was passed down through generation of the author's family. And so it was just a really beautiful book about family and tradition and keeping your heritage. So this was really good. Yeah. And then this one is Rodchenko's Eggs.
Yes.
And this was really good. This was a Russian folktale about like the beautifully decorated eggs and this old woman who always painted these beautiful eggs, and then she got this magical goose. It was a cute story. It had some whimsy. It kind of felt like a folk tale. Our daughter really enjoyed it. And so these are both from Patricia Polacco, the same author, and there's a few more of hers we also like. So if you could get anything by her from the library, it would be worth it.
Yeah, very fitting for the area.
Yeah.
Next, a little bit of Living in Russia. So one of the books we've been recommending for nonfiction if you wanted to.
They're really good. These are the ready-to-read books. They're at a level 2, so they're really perfect for kinder, first grade.
Especially if you're one of those emerging readers, it might be real nice.
Could maybe read it themselves. It gives just the right amount of detail, and it goes through the child's life, where they go to school, what their family looks like, where they eat, or what they eat, and the sports or games they play. It's all very child-centered, so our daughter really loves these books. The whole series of them is just perfect.
Absolutely. We've gotten them in the last few weeks. A lot of European options there. Rudolf Nureyev.
So this is the Little People, Big Dreams series about Rudolf Nureyev. And
we recommended the Marie Curie one for Poland. Yeah.
And he's a famous Russian ballet dancer that eventually defected, and it really just talks all about his life. It's a really great book. One warning that I would give: if you or your student is really upset about typos and things, I would not get this book. At one point, they spelled his name wrong. There was a few other really blatant typos that kind of had my eye twitching. But our daughter really loved the book, so we're recommending it because it was perfect for her age group. But it does have a few typos that definitely made me kind of twitch. So just know if that's a problem that you have, that you cannot read one of those books, to skip this one then.
We're gonna have to call the Francis Lincoln Press and push them up.
Who spells the name wrong? This is the name of the book, and you spell his name wrong. Anyways, I digress.
They ain't got time for this. They gotta get books out.
I guess so.
The kids gotta learn. The Boreal Forest. Now, this is a great selection for any type of a country that is north of the Arctic Circle. So
that's north of the Arctic Circle?
I think it's right in that range is where the Boreal Forest.
How can it be north of the Arctic Circle?
Yeah, there's a bunch of right around the Arctic Circle area.
I thought it was south of the Arctic Circle.
She's
We're digressing.
Open
the book. Open the book, please. Okay, this is a beautiful book, and it's all about the creatures that are found and the landscapes. It's gorgeous. It talks all about northern Canada and about Russia. So we picked it up for Russia, but it actually
maybe even touch on Scandinavia as well.
Yeah, it actually lists the country name here, and then shows beautiful information about the animals that live there and their habitat and things. It's just gorgeous. If you haven't started your around the world journey yet, you might buy this book. It was really beautiful. We've already covered some of these countries, so I might pick this up for our second round when our younger daughter is old enough in a few years. But The Boreal Forest was just a great book. This is a bit above kindergarten. I would say this is much more suited to a mid-elementary child or older.
Really nice, alternative spine as well.
Yeah, I agree totally about it being an alternative spine. I think that this book is really great. It works for younger readers because it has such beautiful pictures. Even though the material is a little bit older, our daughter still enjoyed it. But I think that if you're definitely doing this around the world study, or you're studying this country with, a middle elementary age child, I think this would be perfect for them, or a child who's just a little bit elevated in their level of understanding. I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful alternative spine. So
gorgeous artwork.
Yeah, Boreal Forest.
Those were the books. We moved on to movies, which the one we watched is Anastasia.
Yeah, it's a classic. I don't know, John Cusack, Meg Ryan.
Classic.
classic, but in quotes. We're children of the 90s, so for us, I mean, that came out when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what, 1992
some really,
maybe?
really good music in it as well.
That you know,
very much
Once Upon a December has been playing in our house. Like nonstop on loop. Our daughter has created dance routines to it.
Full on 2-minute dance routine.
All like, she acts it all out, and she plays
fun.
the role of Anastasia. So we couldn't find another movie that would be appropriate for their age that covered Russia. So we did do An American Tale back when we studied the United States. But if you haven't done An American Tale yet, that story of Fievel and his family, because they're Russian immigrants, that would also totally work for Russia.
Yeah.
We just had already watched that for the United States study. But Anastasia was really good.
It was. Also, you know, lot of dancing videos as well. We moved into
tons of ballet.
Absolutely. Tons of ballet. So nice way to build off that. Next, the food, Bellini. Oh, it's a crepe.
Blini, yeah, it's kind of like a thin Russian pancake. It's crepe-like.
Crepe-like.
Yeah. So that's what we made for the food this week. I don't know. You know, look. We looked at borscht. We looked at in the cooking class Global Feast, the main spine for Torchlight for Build Your Library that we use. It was like a semolina porridge thing, and both of my kids went, eh.
Yeah,
so we made the crepe, and it was really good. We'll put the description recipe in our description for this video. But we really enjoyed it. I mean, you know, you can eat it with applesauce, or I think that they did theirs with just a little bit of butter and cinnamon and sugar, which is also really good.
It was actually very good.
They were very tasty, and it wasn't
no complaints
borscht
from us,
or something else.
Hey, well, those kids, you know, the kids who try food videos that we have
from
in our guides.
Those are fun.
You know, there's that one girl who liked it. The borscht. Everybody else did not.
That girl likes everything.
She does.
She's really eclectic palate.
She really does.
But other videos we watched, we watched a lot of nature stuff about Siberia and about the animals that live there. And there's
how cold it is.
Yeah, there's this great gal who's YouTubing from Yakutsk.
Yeah, we'll make sure to put it in the show notes.
Yeah, she's
below.
like, it's like in the coldest
coldest
city on Earth
or
whatever.
Yeah, minus 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
We watched all these videos about like how they layer their clothing to survive. You know, what was like negative 20 or something.
Ignore the girl who's putting on lots of clothes. We need to talk about the guy who jumps into the water.
Oh yeah, there's
just
like
shorts.
Like a polar bear thing every morning.
I don't know, yeah.
Anyway, we watched a bunch of Yakutsk videos, and we watched some really neat videos about how people in rural Siberia live, and you know what their day-to-day life is like. And I thought that was really eye-opening for our daughter. She just really realized how difficult everything was because it was so remote and it was so cold, and you know they didn't have the supplies that we have and things like that. So I thought it was actually really good. And we watched tons of stuff about Arctic foxes and other nature documentaries.
You know, if you have a little bit older learner, and I know Ariel's about to cringe, there's the Werner Herzog documentary about life on the taiga, I think it is. You can watch that as well.
It's that voice. It's the Werner Herzog documentary voice that just lulls me into a sense of stupor.
We'll at the homeschool together today, and we are going to learn about Russia.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the whole thing just makes me want to just like, ugh, I hate Werner Herzog. But if that's your jam...
Unsubscribes are up.
Maybe you want to just like watch it on closed captions, and then you don't have to hear him speak. I feel like he's just the most self-centered person.
Anyway, whatever. We'll move on.
We'll move on from Werner Herzog.
We had a great time in Russia. It was a great stay. We learned a lot. It was a good experience, I think. So we really look forward to continuing our wonderful journey, trekking around the world. So we look forward to seeing you guys the next week. So look forward to seeing you. Bye.